Sam and I here holding the fort down because Wyatt's on like a holiday trip or something stupid.
With his family.
Gag me with the spoon.
Mrs. Henderson.
Classic. Have you been watching the Mighty Nein show on Amazon?
No, I haven't been.
Oh, it's very, very good. It's much better than Vox Machina in terms of like storytelling. Like,
and the Vox Machina show was great.
Yeah, the Vox Machina show they tied much closer to campaign 1 in terms of like the beats they were hitting. I think the Mighty Nein, they're tying into everything going on at that time period. So like, spoiler alerts for Critical Role campaign 2 if you never got around to watching that one. Essek being revealed as the traitor that gave the Dwendalian Empire the beacon. Mm-hmm. You get that in episode 1.
Well, there you go.
Because they're showing you what's going on with Essek and Trent Ickathon and the beacon and stuff as like background information cutaways from the Mighty Nein itself. It took them to like episode 3 to even get all the members of the Mighty Nein, the core cast, together. And we're still waiting on Yasha to show up. Fun fact. It's very good. It's a very good program. Highly recommend. Amazon Prime. But we're not here to talk about the Mighty Nein or Amazon Prime.
No.
We're here on the Lord's 106th episode of the Duels and Mana Dorks podcast, a Magic the Gathering, formerly... We talked about D&D a little bit. We don't really get into that anymore unless we're geeking out about old Critical Role when it was still good. Have you seen anything of Campaign 4?
I watched the first couple episodes. It's a very different vibe. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think the way I perceived it when they were going, when it was, it felt more just like a very, very niche improv show, which I mean, kind of technically was. They were using very little like mechanically at that point that I watched up to was like 3 or 4 episodes. It wasn't bad by any means, but
no, Brennan Lee Mulligan's amazing.
It was fantastic to listen to, but just like I don't have the attention span for that much content at any one time anymore.
I watched Campaign 3, spoilers for Campaign 3, at least part of it, up until they like got to the mine. Where Beauregard and Caleb are, and then Keyleth gets like protected by Vax'ildan, and then it explodes and they all get like scattered, and they like when they reconvened, I was like, this campaign's becoming just way too self-referential and like post. It gave me the same vibes of the post Endgame Marvel movies of like there's just too much now.
Yeah, definitely Campaign 3 I watched or listened to. I think I stopped a little bit before that point because I remember them just kind of starting to introduce or reintroduce the Campaign 1 characters, which I kind of had that same feeling of like I think the players were very much driving towards that and Matt was acquiescing. Which I get that. That seems like a cool thing.
Yeah.
And something
when you have that kind of history, you got to bring it all together.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we were able to do that with any of our campaigns, I finished one campaign in my decade of playing D&D.
Yeah.
And there's like no chance of going back to that. So it's like that is probably a fantasy within a fantasy for a lot of people.
No,
so
absolutely.
I get it. I didn't enjoy it, but I got it.
Yeah, I've seen clips from like the end of Campaign 3 and like how they ended it. I've heard how they ended it, and I'm like, well, I mean, that's kind of the only option you got. You kind of have to hit the reset button on the whole thing, so to speak.
Right.
And I was happy that they were doing a big shakeup for Campaign 4. My biggest holdup, Brennan Lee Mulligan's DMing style is amazing. Like, Calamity is some of my favorite Critical Role content. I think that little mini campaign is great.
Yeah.
The problem I get is that they were like, oh, we're going to have 98,000 players.
Yes.
It's just there's too many people that are having to try and take up space at the table, and they're not going to be consistent with who's with who, with how much time they spend as a player, and they're all adults. They have things going on in their lives, but it's too inconsistent for,
I think
me.
I think it's a little bit also. Do you remember the controversy that happened when they started campaign 3 and there was a community outcry about representation in the show?
Yeah.
And how they had who was it? I mean, he's
Robbie
there now.
Damned?
Yes, Robbie. They had Robbie come in, but they're like, "Oh, well, Robbie's going now," and everybody's like, "You fucking pieces of shit! How dare you like kick him off the show?" It's like
he had other stuff to do.
And now, but now he's back on the show. There's more, obviously there is a lot more representation, and I think a lot of the people who are on there are great and interesting. I would love to.
I would be lying if I would be lying if I said that the Critical Role fans were not a significant portion of the reason why I no longer want to engage with the product.
Yeah.
They've become very insufferable, much like, and this is a little bit of a personal dig, the Soulsborne fans. They get a little bit intense online. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of echo chambers exist online.
Very true.
And I get the same thing. Did I ever tell you the story? Because I am a Souls, I love the Soulsborne series, Elden Ring. Did I ever tell you the story about one time? So one time, me, our friend Salem, and her and I buddy Ryan, we were playing Dark Souls 1 Remastered. We were co-oping, just having fun, and we get invaded. So for those of you who don't know, in the Soulsborne series, if you're co-oping, you can get invaded by other players, and those players are PvPing. Well, we're not huge PvP players, so we just kind of like, we're just going to do the sit down emote and just let them kill us, and we'll come back and come to this easy spot and just pick it back up. Well, this person, to their credit, saw us doing that and sent us a message and was like, "Hey, what, don't you want to fight?" And we're like, "No, we don't really want to fight." And he goes, "Okay. Hey, why don't we party up?" And he's like, "I can help you out." Well, the three of us have already beaten this game several times, the original version and this version. We're like, let's see maybe this is a cool person. See what it's about. Well, the guy so we party up with him, and he's like, yada yada. Anyway, I see you guys aren't wearing, top tier armor. Here you go. Here's what you need, and just starts dropping stuff. And we're like, what? And he drops multiple. The whole, a lot of these pickups that you can get are singleton to a run. So if you have to go to New Game Plus to get them. We're like, how high level is this guy? And he goes, oh yeah, I just glitch the game and get infinite spawns of these things. And we're like, oh. And he's like, yeah, as a Dark Souls professional, I feel the need to help new players whenever possible. And we're all just like, okay.
What in the RuneScape Classic is this?
Right. The Dark Souls professional. And so now whenever we're together, if anything, we're always like, as a whatever professional, I feel the need.
It's oh god, whatever the starting town was in RuneScape, there was always those membership paying level 130 people that would just go find the level 1 account and just drop a bunch of shit for them.
Yeah.
Just all that. I never understood it personally, but anyway, this is not a Dark Souls or Critical Role or RuneScape podcast.
What?
This is, in fact, a Magic the Gathering podcast, and boy, do we got a lineup for you today. All right. Nothing in particular huge. No major stories whatsoever. There's not a new world champion for Magic playing Standard that may or may not have gotten it a little bit, under contention, whether or not it was okay. There's been no updates to the Commander format panel. There's no previews for Lorwyn, certainly not for Marvel Superheroes. That would be ridiculous. That comes out in June. That's 4 sets from now. We wouldn't see previews for that already. And the Monster Hunter Secret Lair went off without a hitch. No one had any issues with it. It released completely fine. It was actually print to demand, which was crazy. And every single person that wanted it got it. It was all of that is a lie, of course. So
no lie.
Let's us. I'm going to jump out of order from the document here. We're going to start with the Monster Hunter one. We talked about it in the last episode of the podcast. The Monster Hunter Secret Lair was pulled in its entirety from release. In a statement from Wizards of the Coast, the Secret Lair cross Monster Hunter Super Drop that was revealed last week. This is when this post put up, fell short of expectations. We heard loud and clear that you were disappointed, and we believe we can do better. So we're going to postpone this release and rework the Super Drop entirely. Pulling Super Drops back isn't something we do very often, but we're committed to doing better. Capcom is on board for us to take another swing at this Super Drop as well. So we're going to pull this one back. We're going to share new details and an updated release date in a few months. Keep an eye out for more information in 2026. The big issue with this Secret Lair drop, Monster Hunter fans saw it immediately. The big one was they completely misspelled a character name on one of the cards. Champion of Lambholt was reskinned as Champion of Kotoko. Apparently it is Kokoto. I don't play Monster Hunter. So there was poor alignment of monsters versus the characters they represented. Like there was a dragon that was a reskin of a wolf card. So it had a wolf creature type and was just not at all accurate. Not to mention the fact the Soul Ring didn't even have a ring. It was just a dragon, like a mechanical dragon. The reprint value of the monster drops themselves was like completely abysmal. It was literally like pennies a card bad. And for a game that relies so heavily on equipment and loadouts to go hunt monsters, no equipment to be seen whatsoever. We'll start with this. Do you think that this is a good sign for Secret Lairs that they're willing to pull back on this? Or do you think this is just going to be a one-off because the people of Magic's community were so upset about it? Or maybe even Capcom put the pressure on them themselves to pull it?
The fact that it got that far itself is a really bad sign. I mean, of course, a while ago now, they laid off a good portion of a lot of teams at Wizards. And we can only imagine that they've been, these collaborations don't happen overnight, right? This Capcom, this Monster Hunter collab has probably been in the works for God knows how long. And there's got to be steps and steps and steps along the way to where they know what they're doing. And they're all nerds there too. They understand flavor of these releases and the draw. I gotta imagine there's just somebody in there who, thought they could get away with this. I'm a little pessimistic on this. I think that there was somebody in Wizards and Hasbro that just said, we don't need to care. It's like going to a restaurant and hearing, oh, well, we had I think the profits are better if we charge $1 per glass of water. It's like, what? You're missing the point. I didn't come here to this Secret Lair just because I like the fancy like art. There are plenty of great proxy artists online who will do that. So the fact that it got that far is just somebody showing their belief that they can just milk the community.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. This is definitely, they were trying to pull the wool over someone's eyes at Wizards. I have an even more pessimistic view of this, which is Capcom, like Wizards of the Coast they've talked about, they have a ton of licensing that they've been doing for Universes Beyond products. They in every quarterly report, every financial report, Christopher Penis, CEO of Hasbro, Chris Cox, talks constantly about all of the opportunities they're having in Universes Beyond coming up, the properties that they either have already gotten pen to paper inked contracts to do secret lairs, sets, commander decks, whatever with, or they feel like they have the door open to basically any property they want because it's been proven successful so many times. I think this is a bad look on Wizards. I think it's a bad look on Capcom. Capcom, I think, just licensed out Monster Hunter and was like, yeah, sure, go for it. And when they saw the reception to it and how poorly the product was made to begin with, I'm very confident that people at Capcom were going back to Wizards, going back to Hasbro and being like, you're not releasing this. We want to. I certainly think that Wizards is curtailing more to what pressure they may have been getting from Capcom more than the community, that's for sure, because the community has been up in arms about secret lairs for a long time. They don't care about putting poor reprint value on secret lairs. They don't care about like, oh, we misprinted it, we'll fix it later. Right. That's never been a reason that they pull. I think this is Capcom's doing. We've seen that they've been willing to compromise Magic product with the Spider-Man release, not being able to get licensing for arenas and having to do a whole other version of art and text and names and characters for Spider-Man to have the facsimile of it with paper and arenas. So I think this is a very, very bad look all the way around. This is not a win for the community. I say if you're a Monster Hunter fan, good for you. You're going to get a much better secret lair drop in a couple months. And I guarantee you the value on that thing is going to be up there because they're not going to risk any sort of backlash on the same drop again after working on it for several more months.
Right. And it's one of those things where this isn't the first time Capcom has worked with Wizards.
Yeah.
Obviously, Street Fighter was one of the OG secret lair, especially mechanically unique secret lair drops. So yeah, just like any, if you go to your friend who you thought was reliable and thought could help make you some money, and suddenly they, just kick you in the crotch instead, it's not great.
Yeah, you don't want Hasbro shitting in your cereal, as it were. That's not a healthy, balanced breakfast. At all. Hopefully the next drop is better. Hopefully they're more willing to, put a little bit more thought and effort into these products before showing them to the world. I don't know. God forbid, maybe they're going to have a couple less secret lair drops next year. That's not going to happen.
That's not going
to happen. What will happen is we're going to see cards. We're going to constantly be seeing new cards. Now, Marvel Superheroes is one of the Universes Beyond sets coming out next year. It is the fourth set of 2026, releasing in June. Fourth, as in there are 3 entire other sets of 250 plus cards to be shown and released and sold to the public. And sentiment to be moved on already for the next thing. And we're already getting preview cards for it for some reason. We talked about this with way too early previews for Spider-Man, gobbling up attention from Edge of Eternities. Same for Avatar, getting previews way too early, kind of trying to skip over Spider-Man when they realized it was a bad deal. But hey, we got new cards to talk about. We've got fun enchantment sagas like The Coming of Galactus, which on its final chapter creates a 16/16 Black Elder alien creature token with flying trample, and whenever Galactus attacks, you destroy a target land. That one's fun. Some more normal cards. Your Captain America Sentry, a double-sided Bruce Banner. It's using the new transform mechanics that we've got rules changes from Spider-Man to the Incredible Hulk, which very aptly, whenever he's dealt damage, you put a +1/+1 counter on him. If he's attacking, untap, get an additional combat. People have already found ways to make this go infinite, as you can imagine.
Of course.
Quicksilver, Doctor Doom, Baron Zemo, the Super Skrull, which is like discount Kenrith. And we got a reveal of 4 face commanders for 1 commander deck. which will be the Fantastic Four deck. Each of the Fantastic Four, the Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, the Human Torch, and the Thing, can be the helm of a Sans Black 4-color commander deck. We haven't seen any of the other cards within it. Given the abilities on the Fantastic Four, it's going to be a lot of non-creature stuff happening. All of them care about non-creatures. All of them require the four pips of red, green, white, and blue to activate an ability or to trigger, to pay in response to a trigger, that kind of stuff. And then we get to see some fun booster fun styles. We're getting more comic book art like we did with the Spider-Man set. And all around, the cards look way more well-designed than Spider-Man. We're getting cool reprints as well that use the comic book art. Dig Through Time, Harbinger of the Sea for Namor. It doesn't name Namor on the card. I don't know why. You're making up fake names for everything anyway. You might as well. Lord of Atlantis, the Chaos Warp being the iconic shot of the Scarlet Witch where she's like pixelating away, that famous cover, and a whole lot of varieties of heroic intervention, which makes complete sense. What do you think of the previews we've seen so far for Marvel superheroes? I will say the one thing that I was expecting to see that we haven't seen, at least yet, I was expecting March of the Machines style like team up cards where you have two characters on the same card. We haven't seen that yet. Probably not at all. But what do you make of the Marvel superhero previews?
I mean, just looking at them already, I would hope that these are a good, like you said, a lot of these are very cool and look way more well designed than the Spider-Man set. And I mean, a lot of the Spider-Man set, I feel, was more focused on the limited gameplay while missing the constructed gameplay push. There are a couple that can make it in, and if you really want to build a Spider-Man deck, you can. But these look a lot more constructed, focused. I'm looking at this Baron Zemos and going, ooh, well, that's cool. I like this Baron Zemo. The Bruce Banner, like you said, is wild. But
as a commander, Bruce Banner, a 1-drop that comes down and its main thing is that it just draws you cards by giving him mana. And then whenever you're ready to execute your Incredible Hulk game plan, you can just flip him on the battlefield. I think that one's going to play really well. Just want to point out some fun mechanics that we're getting returned. The Merfolk creature type's going to care. It's going to matter. We're getting the shield counter, at least for Captain America. We're getting more sagas. That's how they tell a lot of the stories for these kinds of universes beyond sets. Baron, as you mentioned, Baron Zemo, Boast. I don't know if it's going to just be Baron Zemo. They like to do these kind of referential, just one-off inclusions of old abilities. It's kind of hard to get a vibe for what this environment is going to be beyond just kind of generic heroes matters and at least some level of merfolk matters and flipping legends and stuff.
Right. All of these cards that we're seeing so far, of course, they like to preview the really interesting cards. That being said, we do have Atuma, Atlantean Warlord, is an uncommon. Everything else falls into the higher rarities, which aren't a great way to judge a set, especially this early out. Yeah. The real meat and bulk of a set comes from the commons and the uncommons, and if they're doing anything interesting with those. I do want to touch on the interest. Like, I do find it interesting, but also very fitting that you can run any of these 4 commanders in the commander deck, Invisible Woman, Miss Fantastic, Human Torch, or the Thing, as your commander. Because as we've seen when we saw the TMNT previews, we saw that, here's the commander deck. You can either go with the Turtle team up, or you can go with Leonardo. The other 3 you cannot use as your commander, even though they're part of the whole thing, you know?
I'm surely there's no way that the Fantastic Four is like a response to that criticism, because I'm sure this stuff was decided a long time ago. Mm-hmm. It is interesting that they clearly did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles decision making. Probably themselves realized, this is clunky and doesn't quite work flavorfully, and then were able to fix it for the Fantastic Four, which is cool. I personally, knowing nothing about the entire rest of the deck, I imagine Mr. Fantastic is going to be the better of the 3. Just because, I mean, drawing cards when you for having casted a non-creature, like you get an extra card draw every single turn. And then you can copy triggered abilities twice.
Yeah.
So in a deck that's clearly going to be featuring a lot of powerful non-creature spells, we're probably going to see each of the Fantastic Four depicting on the art, showing them doing certain actions. So you literally are playing just the 4 Fantastic Four, and then they're doing a whole lot of stuff. Surely, obviously, there's going to be other legends. There's going to be other characters represented in the deck. But I think thematically, in terms of a superhero precon, it's pretty flavorful. And hey, we get them this time. Big upgrade from the last Marvel set.
Right.
Do you have a prediction for Infinity Stones? I think we're going to get 2.
You think we're going to get 2?
Set. Yeah, at least 2.
I'm not sure.
I would, with Doctor Doom, I feel like we would get like the Mind Stone and the Space Stone, maybe.
Space Stone with Galactus.
Yeah. Just preliminary guesses. Still, one of my criticisms of Spider-Man was they dove way too deep into the character pool for a lot of things. Well, we didn't need Spider-Man UK. We didn't need Spider-Man India with their own card. Do we really need Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of deep dives into Marvel over my my 31 years of life, and I can reference some random characters out there.
Oh yeah,
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Did not recognize.
No, not at all. Anyway, I guess we'll probably get the full set reveal like around the time TMNT's coming out, probably before we've seen anything before we've seen any Strixhaven or Reality Fracture. So that's cool. We really like that. We're going to skip down one story on the document again because we're talking about card previews. We might as well talk about a couple Lorwyn cards that we got after seeing Marvel superhero cards, because of course, obviously there's a small collection of cards that we saw when they announced the set. We're getting Shockland reprints. We saw Evoke Elementals returning, but we have 3 new cards to talk about. High Perfect Morkant is a Golgari elf that has a new keyword ability, Blight. Blight's 1, where each opponent, it says, whenever the High Prefect Morkant or another elf you control enters, each opponent blights 1. And the reminder text is they each put a -1/-1 counter on a creature they control. So we're going to get the return of the -1/-1 counters attached to a new keyword that has scaling size, it seems. We see Perfect Intimidation. It's a sorcery that's got one mode of 2 options or both modes of target opponent exiles 2 cards from their hand and remove all counters from a target creature. And then Convoke is returning on a card draw spell that is an instant that will not be broken in any way. 3 blue for an instant in the common slot with Convoke. Draw 3 cards, then discard a card. I can already see blue mages frothing at the mouth for this piece. Anything that makes a token, any value creature on the battlefield that you're not going to be attacking with in a Spellslinger deck, that's just a mana reduction for that card. Do you have any thoughts about the new mechanics? We're getting Convoke returning. We're getting the -1/-1 counters return.
Yeah, I actually I think -1/-1 counters are very interesting as a lesser explored sort of mechanic. Obviously, +1/+1 counters are rampant and great, but I really like this vibe of this blight ability. I think that it's a good spot to start to explore without being too overpowered right away. I think there's plenty of room to build around, and there's also already support in other mechanics from previous sets without necessarily going directly to infect. That being said, you said it both ways. Which do you think it actually is, perfect or prefect? I think it's prefect.
I think it's perfect because that's how it's spelled.
True.
Because isn't prefect PRE?
Maybe.
FECT? I don't know. I've never actually seen it spelled.
Now that you're saying it, I haven't either, but I don't know. High perfect Morcant sounds
my main,
really
my main exposure to the word prefect is Harry Potter's like house prefects that are like the RAs of the wizarding world. I'm sure I read it in the books and just was like, oh, that's prefect. I could not tell you if it was PR. I'm sitting in front of a computer.
I don't know. Mouthfeel, high perfect sounds weird, you know?
Perfect definition. Okay. Being entirely without fault or defect, aka flawless. That's kind of the main one, obviously. An expert or proficient. For perfect. Pure, total, lacking no of relating to or constituting a verb. No. Perfect. Okay, none of this. Hold on. House prefect. Okay, so a prefect is PREFECT.
Wizards, we prefer prefect. Go ahead and change that for us, would you?
Yeah, change that before the release. Don't print them.
Go ahead and
don't print the
us.
cards yet.
Thank you.
Yeah, high perfect. That's. I'm high on pot news. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Get yourself there.
I'm high on pot news. I don't remember what that's a reference to, but I know it's a reference to something.
No.
Anyway, Lorwyn Eclipsed, the set that I'm excited for, alongside Strixhaven and The Hobbit. That's kind of it. We're batting less than 50%. Let's move on to the most popular format of Magic the Gathering, the Commander format. The Commander format panel, the replacement for the Rules Committee once Wizards of the Coast took over, it is getting an update. This is from Gavin Verhey. They have made a change to the Commander format panel. When it was established, they discussed that it was going to have some people that would remain on for a longer period of time, and then a group of individuals that would rotate out and rotate through so that more people were getting through and getting seats on the panel as years went on. And this is one such occasion. They added a lot of members to start out with to help kind of reestablish what the vision and the methodology that they're going to use for the Commander format panel and banned and restricted announcements and all of that kind of stuff. So 6 panel members are going to be rotated off of the panel. Attack on Cardboard, Charlotte Sable, Daquan Watson, Greg Sablin, Christian Gregory, and Scott Larrabee are being taken off of the panel. Not for doing anything wrong necessarily, just to rotate out. And in their place, they have added only 2. So as a reduction of 4 members, we are getting Alex Hayer, aka Higher MTG. He is a CEDH player. He's done a lot with Playing with Power on YouTube. Playing with Power, Ryan, I've met before. He's a mutual friend of our friend Lincoln. He having a new CEDH voice in the room, I think, is going to be cool. And then Tomer of Budget Commander and MTG Goldfish. He is much more into the mid-power sort of commander, and he has been a very lovely face in the community. The new current format panel is going to be Alex Hare, Bandit, Ben Wheeler, Deco, Itetu, Josh Lequai, Lewis Stardust, Olivia Gobert-Hicks, Rachel Weeks, Rebel Lily, Tim Willoughby, Toby Elliott, and Tomer as the full Commander format panel. It's the first time we've seen the panel rotate since its inception about a year ago. Do you want to see this kind of every year of some people rotating out, rotating in? I think, at least for the time being, that is good while they kind of solidify themselves. I would certainly like voices like Olivia Gilbert-Hicks, Rachel Weeks, Jocelyn Kwai to be more mainstays of the format panel personally, and then just rotate through other people. But big shakeup for Commander. You think this is going to affect basically anything?
I mean, as you know, as far as it goes, immediate changes, no. We're not going to probably see anything. I do appreciate the candor and the transparency that they've had with the panel, and how much thought they do put into every decision. It definitely helps that the people who are on that panel are very vocal, are very available to watch their content on different platforms. Obviously, some of those are from the Command Zone. We have Loading Ready Run for Ben Wheeler, MTG Goldfish, and so on and so forth. And they're on there talking about their thoughts, their opinions, and what they're seeing, because they go to events. It's not like they're just a bunch of people just like, I don't like this, and then making rules. No, they're out there. They're actually talking to people, and I think it's a great thing. One, that again, how available they are and how much they talk about it, but two, to get new people in and to get new perspectives. And always also, like we said, they cut down. None of these people were leaving because they were doing bad or being against the panel. No, they were leaving because they had other things to do, or were just like, okay, I'm ready to step down.
Yeah. There has been a little bit of... I've seen only one negative thing from one of these 6 that has been removed, and that's Attack on Cardboard. He has the propensity to clap back a little bit on Twitter, which, frankly, I respect it. But I can understand why, as a panel of people, you don't necessarily would want the super outspoken voice in terms of the Twitter debates as one of your panel members. I don't know if that's a contributing factor at all. Just wanted to point that out as well. But yeah, all these people have been wonderful. There's a lot of names I don't recognize. The names that I do recognize are names that I like in the community quite a bit. Olivia Gobert-Hicks I actually met at Gen Con last year briefly. She was working one of the booths, one of the game booths that I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that's just how she got her pass for the weekend. Was like, oh, I'll work this booth and then you can pay my pass to go. I chatted with her for 2 minutes. I was like, oh, I'm a fan. Love your MTG content. And she was lovely. But yeah, no, this, I think, Hire is amazing. I don't know as much about Tomer, but I've heard nothing but good things about him. So very fun. Commanders, I think, in one of the better spots it's been in terms of a rules perspective. I think the bracket system has been a big benefit. I think the Game Changers list and the updates they've done to that, and the ban philosophy and all of that, I think it's in a much better spot than it was just a year or two ago. A lot of dumb shit to get it there.
Yeah.
I didn't
forget.
forget.
A wild ride.
We're not forgetting about that. Don't you?
We talked about that a lot.
Ooh, we're not letting you guys forget that at all. But as far as where we are now, it's solid. The last news item of the day, the finals of the Magic World Championships, the 31st Magic World Championships. It has crowned a new champion in the finals match between Akira Shibata, the regional championship qualifier from Japan, and Seth Manfield. Seth Manfield has won a world championship before, has been to many top 8s in world championship competitions before. Ended up 3-0ing Shibata. Okay, I'm trying not to be like super terrible. 3-0'd Shibata, 2-0 in the pre-sideboard phase, and then eked out a win after the sideboard. Now, the reason I sigh, well, for one, Seth was playing an Is It Lessons deck involving Monument to Endurance. It had Storm Chasers and Artist Talent. The Is It shell's just too strong. They can't get it can't be banned out of Standard, apparently. But the reason I sigh is that, of course, it's not ever just clear cut. Oh, he won. Great job. There's a lot of discourse going on about his play in that finals match. It was clear he was very nervous and kind of jittery during the match from the clips that I've seen. And there were two incidents that people go to. One where he tapped a land for mana and was about to cast a spell to target a spider on Shibata's board that was on the, or sorry, it wasn't on the board. It was on the stack. He cast a spider spell. He was going to counter it. There was a Cavern and Souls in play, and it had named Spider, so it was uncounterable. He tapped the mana and was about to present the counter spell, then was like, wait, hold on, and requested again what the Cavern of Souls had been named earlier. They put a reminder token on it. Shibata is a man from Japan. A lot of his cards had Japanese text on them, so it wasn't immediately on board visible to a non-native Japanese speaker what specifically was going on. But he pulled that back and then untapped the land that he had tapped to cast that spell. The judge and Shibata were totally fine with that. Most people that are reasonable, I think, are cool with that play. The other one was the specifics of the interaction. He was trying to cast a Boomerang Basics on one of his pieces. He had a Monument to Endurance out, and he was trying to get more value out of the monument draw. He was trying not to deck himself as well. He tapped the mana, he set the card down, and then sat for like 20 seconds, and then realized that it wasn't going to work, and he was going to deck himself and lose. He went to the judge and say, can I take that back? The judge looked at Shibata. Shibata said, sure. The judge said, sure. And he took the play back, and then they continued play. He went on to win that game. Now, there are rules about takesies backsies. Generally, once anything has resolved in the process of casting a spell. So if you cast a spell and a trigger goes onto the stack, if that trigger resolves, you can no longer take back the spell. If new information is revealed, for example, you cast a spell and then you pass priority and they say no response. That is new information. They do not have a spell that they would wish to cast in their hand. You cannot then take back the casting of that spell. It's not a readily apparent whether or not the take back on the second play was okay. The judge ruled it as okay in the moment. His opponent said it was okay. Did not appear that there was any no response. Like, I'm going to cast this, no response. There was no affirmation that priority had been passed and that his opponent had taken some kind of verbal or game action in response to the casting of that spell. So I think by the books, he's good, but there's a lot of contention about it. Do you have any thoughts on the contentious final table of the Magic Championships 31?
I get that there's contention, especially one, because there is money on the line, and two, the title, is not, it's not a small thing by any means. It's not your local, your LGS's local tournament. No, this is the big leagues. Yeah. That being said, again, maybe it was, the especially the first one, it just gave more information to his opponent about what is in his hand. And I didn't watch it. You referenced sent me a link to a video by Pleasant Kenobi, and I started watching it, and it wasn't made clear whether that counterspell in particular was used later on. that I think is kind of a more interesting thing, is like, you know, had he been forced to resolve the spell, which then would have just fizzled, you know, would that have affected gameplay later? Again, but that's all hypothetical, theoretical.
Certainly you can assume after revealing he has the counter spell, it affects the gameplay later, simply because now his opponent is playing around knowing that he has a counter spell and what counter spell he has in his hand.
So
I'm not like super leaning either direction on this. Obviously, the moment information is revealed in any capacity, the game state has changed. Take back or no take back on a game action. In the instance of the boomerang basics, I think that hurt Manfield more. Whereas the reveal of having a counter spell now forces his opponent to play around the counter spell, which he already was doing with the Cavern of Souls, wanting to cast the spider and guaranteeing that it resolved without being countered. But Seth has been playing for a very long time. He has won a world championship before. There's a lot of conspiracy theorizing that he was doing it on purpose. Like, there's no reason to be this nervous. You've been at these kinds of tables before. You've been at this high level of play. And it's like, you're going for the world championship and a boatload of money. Like, I'd be fucking nervous, even if I had been playing the game for all 31 championships, you know?
I get nervous still when walking up to a counter to order a burger. It's called anxiety.
I get nervous about tapping out to cast my commander in a casual game. I don't think there's anything untoward going on at the highest levels of play. You're going to try and eke out any advantage you can. It was clearly within the rules. The judges okayed it. Congratulations to Seth.
Yes,
very well done. Very well done. Magic World Championships 31 in the books. That said, that's all we have for this svelte, slender episode of the Duels of Mana Dorks podcast, with some free sprinkling of bullshit at the beginning for you.
We do love to sprinkle some free bullshit.
That is one of the many things we enjoy.
Some jimmies of bullshit, if you will.
Ooh. Bullshit bay. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm losing my mind.
You know
the next episode of the podcast already in the tank. We pre-recorded that one. We're going to be talking about the best cards of 2025, objectively, with no bias, with zero personal input whatsoever. And it's, you know, obviously it's VV, you know.
Gotta be. Only answer.
But that podcast, we talked about VV for like 10 seconds. It's fun. It's awesome. The one after that, we're going to be looking ahead at 2026. We're going to get that one recorded here soon and in the tank so we can all have a little bit of time off, and not just Wyatt with his family. His very greedy family, might I add. Right. Wanting to spend time with him around the holidays.
Wanting to take him away from us.
It's like he has a wife and kids that love and care about him deeply. Disgusting, quite frankly. Disgusting. It makes me sick to my stomach almost. Almost. Not quite.
Almost. Not quite. Nope.
We also need to do our year-end limited game. I ordered a pack of Innistrad Remastered because I realized I had 2 when I needed to save 3 for the boys. Never came. So I made the trek all the way down to the game store. It was very arduous. Yes. I really didn't want to do it to get a pack of Innistrad Remastered and totally not anything else.
Didn't pick up a damn thing otherwise.
No, zero singles for a Rakdos Madness popper deck at all. Nothing like that.
Not a damn thing.
Totally didn't do it because it was close to the Costco and I needed to do a Costco run and get lunch at the Costco as well. None of that happened.
Nope, no Costco dogs were had that day.
No. Or pizzas or any of the other wonderful, delectable delicacies in the Costco food court. Big win that they moved to Coke, by the way. Big win. Huge win. Huge win for the Costco going to the Coke products. They still have pallets of Spider-Man packs at Costco.
Not surprised.
Because Costco, in the last year, they've really upped their Magic game. They were the ones that flooded the market with the Final Fantasy Commander decks, crashing the price back down to MSRP. God bless them. God bless them. They did it with Edge of Eternity stuff. Spider-Man is currently at Costco. No Commander decks in Spider-Man. I don't think there's really anybody that wants to be paying $38 for 6 packs of Spider-Man with a Miles Morales promo and a 25 land pack. Yeah. So waiting for that one to go on Manager Markdown. Maybe. Probably not even then.
No. I mean, if you really want to make a Spider-Man cube, you could probably build that pretty easy. But other than that,
who would want to do that? Who would do that to themselves?
Some people are really into Spider-Man. Can I tell you a very disappointing thing that I've from that Spider-Man set?
No.
That I
anyway, that's all the time. Yes, of course.
I have a deck that I built after Duskmourn came out. Mm-hmm. That was kind of a remodification of a deck that I built after Lord of the Rings came out. And that deck was called Spiders Man.
Oh, yeah.
And Spiders Man, the card, is not good enough to go in that deck. And it is a low power deck.
It sucks.
Which is very sad.
I forgot. You made the Shelob deck.
Yeah.
And then you just completely ripped out like the heart and lungs of that deck and put something else in. And
I turned it in. Yeah. The Shelob deck, it was cool, but I couldn't get it online. And the group we were playing with mostly at that time, the deck just didn't work with it. So then I converted it into a Swarm Weaver deck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that works a lot better.
Shelob, you needed to ramp way too hard. Needed a dark ritual early, something to just get it out.
Yeah.
Because by the time you were able to deploy that Shelob, I mean, like, I had an Narset and a board of tokens out, and that's just not a good time for anybody at the table that isn't me.
And then it's also not my playstyle, where it's like the idea that like a bite spell. You just wanted to ramp, get the spiders out, and then bite spell. And I was like, this isn't fun. This isn't nice.
No, it's not nice. It's not nice at all. And as an arachnophobe myself, I'm very anti-spider, and I'm glad to not have them at my table quite as frequently. With all that being said, that's all the time we have for this, the Lord's 106th episode of the Duels of Mana. We're getting a couple in the tank. I'm trying to keep them in order here. We're not recording them in order. It's a whole to do. This one was a little bit delayed. We're not going to blame Wyatt, but he's not here to defend himself.
It's true.
So do with that information what you will. With all that being said, we love you very much, and as always,
peace.